Well, Brandon,
Yeah.
I've given it some thought. I uploaded the Packers post game at 2:55 a.m.
Well,
and didn't get much sleep. Was racking around my brain, and I finally have like a coherent, well thought out, and executed reason as to why the Packers lost and my feelings about it. So if you will indulge me for a moment. Oh, baby. We here.
we steer
You directly to hell where Brandon Perna's hand reached up from the grave, grabbed my ankles, and dragged me down to the pits of misery where Russell Wilson is microwaving Lunchables.
Ooh, yummy.
Welcome,
Nutritious.
Tom Grossi, Brandon Perna, Grossi Perna Show, GPS. And you know what? We're just going to get started. One Brandon Perna, he knows. He knows. He has been a curse to so many teams,
No.
organizations this year. So many.
People do this, right?
And yet, last night, after the Seahawks beat the Rams, you know what this man tweets out? Go, Pack, go. He tweets it out. And guess what? What happened to the Green Bay Packers? They lost.
They go pack, go home.
Yeah. You know, and here's the thing. It's you. It's Tree. Because I called him after the Steelers lost, and I'm like, I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry. And he's like, yeah, hope you're joining me later. You freaking...
He said he hopes he's joining you.
You're vindictive. All of you. Vindictive.
See, but here's the thing. Like,
No.
I genuinely was like, you know what? F the Seahawks. I love
Amen.
the Lions.
Amen.
And what I love more than the Lions is Tom Grossi. And give him one playoff game. So I went from a place of love, my heart, which is the only place a curse can come from.
Not you, Jess. This is your husband. That's it. Jess, get your house in order. Get it in order. Because your husband's out here. He's just flinging curses around like he's Oprah. He's like,
No.
look under your chair. What do you got?
I just wished him well. No.
Oh, that's right. He's hosting his little daytime talk show. And he's like, oh, audience, look under your chair. What do you got? A big ol' L. That's what he's handing out to the audience. That's what he's doing.
If it was you know what I would give him for an L? An autographed picture of Tom Brady under their chair. Oh, I can't imagine anything worse hanging in my home.
You know what?
But here's the thing. Like,
That'd be pretty good.
in that Packers game, Tom, when the Lions started roaring a little bit, I couldn't help but pull for Detroit. I couldn't help it. It was a situation where, again, I want your success with the Packers over anything in the NFC. But damn, the Lions, I was rooting for them in that game, even though I said go Pack go. And then
So you're a traitor.
Your Packers got a little dirty. Not a good look. Not a great look. And I was like, maybe these gents don't deserve it. Maybe they just don't deserve it. It is weird. It is very strange. You're not in the playoffs. I'm not in the playoffs. Tree's not in the playoffs. Yet Adam and the Giants, along with Scooter, in the playoffs, which is fine. But it would have been much more poetic if only the Cowboys were the team to make it into the playoffs for clickbait.
Yep.
But here we are. Here we are.
You know what, Brandon? After
Go Chiefs. Somehow the Chiefs are going to lose the bye week.
After this season, after everything we've gone through.
Whoa.
Okay,
whoa.
Oh, there you go. There you go. That Perna?
I want you to know how much your love and support of the Bills. Appreciate it. Yeah. But for all that is good and holy, keep the Bills name out of your mouth. All right. I will keep the name out of my mouth, and I won't even give them I'll go with the tradition here.
Johnny John John!
Won't even say your team's name.
You know what? After all this, after this entire season, and now the rumors look like they are true that the Raiders are actively pursuing Tom Brady.
Of course they are.
Go, Tom, go. That's right. I hope the Raiders continue to sweep the Broncos from here until eternity.
Yeah, they won't. I want Tom to go to the Raiders.
You know what I want to see? You just want to hit him. You want to hit him every week.
I want to see no. I want to see Tom Brady play for a bottom tier defense just once in his career. Go, Tom. Go play with that Raiders defense. See what happens, buddy. See what happens.
Honestly, yeah, no, this that news to me, one, it's not shocking. We've talked about it on this show. And two, you are going to a defense that is not going to be good.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, we've seen teams turn around every year, but I don't have faith in Josh McDaniels and them to fix their defense one off season.
Yeah, Perna, who do the Dolphins play?
I don't know. No clue.
Not sure.
I mean, I know, but is Tua gonna play Miami? Good God. The Dolphins were so fun for a while.
Dude, they were so much fun to watch. And
that Jets-Dolphins game, I would rather watch Tom Brady highlights than rewatch that game. That game was so boring.
Yeah. Uh-huh. It's Tom Brady highlights during the 9-0 shutout from the Saints last year. Yeah, that's no, Rodgers not going to the Raiders. But yeah, man, it's
I would much rather have that.
I know you would.
Rodgers played with some bad defenses before. It's been a while.
Oh God, yeah. He played with some of the worst defenses. Yeah, there's a lot to talk about. The Broncos, they won yesterday. They look good. Don't know where that came from. So
here's the difference between Tom and I today. I'm happy that the season is finally over for my Broncos.
I'm so disappointed.
Not only am I happy that the season's over, Denver went out and they played ball. They played ball 2 weeks in a row. They lost to the Chiefs, but they played. And they beat the Chargers. The Chargers, who perplexingly kept their starters in until the very end.
We do not want to lose.
So you can't say, they were resting their starters. Not a real win for you, Broncos fan, Broncos nerd, Broncos baby. We played. Russ, 3 passing touchdowns. 283 passing yards. Moonball returned. He was going deep. Jerry Rosberg put a little energy into this team. And now we just see which high-powered NFL coach we're going to land with all that money we have. All that Walmart money, baby.
Yeah, you're interviewing every coach under the sun. Everybody.
We've locked down interview. We're going to interview Harbaugh. We're going to get to interview Peyton. They're going to interview Dan Quinn.
Yep. Dude, just like everybody, even like Bill Belichick. Bill's like, I'm coming back. He's not leaving. You're just like, you want to just come for an interview just for the experience?
Billy boy, little Billy Babby boy, baby,
Why
Billy.
not? Because why not? Yeah, dude. So yeah, I mean, before we talk about the Packers, I mean, this came up yesterday, and it's kind of just been like sitting in my brain for a while.
That was nice.
Yeah, the baddie. It just like shows what a difference coaching can make. And I'm not saying that Nathaniel Hackett being gone is 49ers is like, you know, the only issue. But I mean, I think you see like, hey, Rosberg, maybe a little bit more experience, like maybe just a little bit of a better like overall head coach. And I mean, you saw it, the Giants, right? Brian Dable, who arguably could be coach of the year because he took a squad that really didn't have a ton of talent on it, kind of reinvigorated Daniel Jones. Saquon Barkley had a great year. All those injuries, still able to take his team to the postseason. Like, that's a lot. You look at Dan Campbell, same thing. I mean, the Lions have gotten better, much better. But to start, you know, where they were with one win and go all the way to have a winning season 1 and 2, be, you know, an overtime away for the Rams Seahawks game from the playoffs. Like, that's incredibly impressive. Mike Tomlin, like, literally refuses with a rookie QB, and Mitch Trubisky refuses to have a losing season, and they almost make the playoffs. You know, I think it just shows that head coaches like come and go a lot in the NFL, and head coaches get a lot of the blame. But I find that it usually they don't get a ton of the credit, because depending on who the coach is, depending on the scheme, depending on like what the scenario is for the team, you know, coaching can make a hell of a difference. And hell, even with Matt LaFleur, you know, in those early years, Aaron Rodgers credits a lot of his MVP seasons to Matt LaFleur, and rightfully so, because it completely reinvigorated him. So now, of course, there's things to be talked about, but yeah.
There's the flip side to that is, and I talked about this with Will last night. And I used Mike Tomlin and Belichick as examples because, like, we know that those are two really, really good head coaches, right? Two great head coaches.
Discipline. Yeah.
But they both did not make the playoffs because they were working with young, inexperienced QBs, right? You got Mac Jones, you got Kenny Pickett / Trubisky. A head coach can get good play, decent play out of an average quarterback, but it's that marriage of a really good head coach and a great QB that has that long sustained success for them to keep winning. And it's why, like, I'm very optimistic now because Russ has put together a few good games, but just a week ago, it's like, I don't think a head coach can fix everything coming in. If you don't have your QB situation figured out, they can raise some of the levels, but you're still, your levels can only go so high.
Correct.
If your quarterback is not good. And I think, I'm not saying like I think Mac Jones is bad or Kenny Pickett's bad. Those guys just need time to develop, and maybe they can turn into, like, you know, dangerous football teams with those head coaches, and you trust those coaches to develop them. So coaching's in, I think it's like, of all the sports, it feels like NFL football, like the head coach, the coaching staff really is so important. And you mentioned Brian Dable. Yeah. And I think, like, Ken Dorsey with Buffalo as offensive coordinator, we're seeing some of the areas he needs to grow, and some of the mistakes Josh Allen's been making seem a little more magnified, and that Brian Dable really did do a hell of a job, even with Buffalo, with Josh Allen, who is great, getting just the best out of Josh Allen, and now he's getting the best out of Dan Jones. Yeah. And because I've seen, like, you know, Bills fans complaining about Ken Dorsey and a lot of different things, but good coaches are, my conclusion, good coaches are good. I'd say good coaches are good, Tom.
It's just, they could elevate a team and take talent that necessarily wasn't performing well and, you know, put them in the best position to succeed. Because again, that's what it comes down to. That is good coaching. You take the players that you have on the field and you put them in the best positions to, do well.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you're seeing in a lot of these situations. I mean, hell, look, Jerry Jeudy, he looked really good yesterday. Wilson was making throws. Like, I mean, they were utilizing talent. And it's so funny because like the one time I turned it on, what was that, a couple weeks ago? Who's the long-haired tight end that like
Eric Tomlinson?
Yeah, he got a touchdown yesterday again, right? And it's his second one. I swear to God, every time I turn on the Broncos, he scores a touchdown. So
I think those are his only 2 touchdowns this season, too.
I know.
But...
I literally just had red zone on, and it popped up for a touchdown, and I was like, "That's funny."
Yeah, they moved Jeudy to, I think it's called the X receiver.
Yeah,
basically receiver number 1, and it's just a role he's better suited for. It just took him way too long to figure that out this year. Way too long.
Yeah.
But the run game's been a lot better the last month as well. Like all of that stuff has helped Russell Wilson, and the offense kind of, being competent, scoring 27.5 points with Rosberg versus the 15.5 while Hackett was there. And Russ playing really well yesterday. Like it was a slow start too. Don't get me wrong.
Sure.
He was at 2 for 8 for 13 yards well into the second quarter. But seeing him put that together, the big thing, the narrative is nobody's going to want to come and coach Russell Wilson in this team.
He's just bad.
He showed he can still play. It's about directing an offense to his strengths. It's about making decisions that make sense. And if I'm the ownership, I ask Russell Wilson who he wants to be head coach, and then I go the opposite. I don't trust his instincts.
But so that's a really interesting scenario, heading into the offseason. Like there's lots of questions for both of our teams, but for the Broncos, it's do you bring in a head coach who says, hey, we're gonna work with Russell Wilson, we're gonna do everything that we can, what have you. And I assume that's going to be the logical path. But at the same time, you're also gonna have a coach saying, we also know when to cut bait. And it might cost a lot of money and it might hurt for a little bit, but we might have to swallow our medicine and say, he's not gonna work out, which is why I don't think they're cutting Russell Wilson, especially after yesterday. They're not cutting Russell Wilson in the offseason. I think what you're going to see is a coach come in and say, hey, if you bring in a Harbaugh, you bring in, even, I don't know about you, Dan Quinn, but you bring in some of these heavy hitters, they may say all right, you got one season, figure it out. This is our system. This is the system that you're going to run. Hopefully you can do it.
Yeah. I'm probably least excited about Dan Quinn at this point, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I'd rather you got Harbaugh and Peyton. I really like D'Amico Ryans, who they're going to interview at San Francisco.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I just read a thing from The Athletic saying that Harbaugh would just flat out take the Broncos job if it's offered to him. There's so many conflicting messages about Harbaugh. I think he's got a real shot to be the guy. Russell Wilson spoke at great length about Sean Payton. I think Russ wants to work with him probably the most.
Probably.
So we'll see. It's going to be a quick process. I don't think they're going to mess around. They might be the first team to hire their next head coach. They do have to wait until the 17th to interview Sean Payton, but it's going to be quick. And what seemed like was going to be just a really terrible situation, cautiously optimistic. I'm not going to say anything stupid that you or Johnny Barks can clip out and use against me week after week after week after week after week after week. Got a little optimism in my heart. Little optimism, which is it's more, indigestion down there, but I feel optimism.
At least someone does.
You, on the other hand,
you went through a full story arc, buddy. You were just
I've never seen you so unexcited about your football team, Tom, if I'm being honest.
It's not that.
And let me say this.
Yeah.
At least you're not the Texans, Tom.
Bro, you know what? Coach of the year, Lovie Smith. It's honestly just for one last FU to the Texans organization. Goes, you know what? I'm going to get fired. Screw your tank. And it honestly doesn't screw them that much. I think they're going to be fine with whatever QB they wind up getting it to, but
I don't think that QB is going to be fine.
No. Yeah, but someone asked in the comments, what head coach wants to go to the Texans right now? you do have a scenario where you get to, draft what is likely to be your franchise QB, and they definitely have some pieces there. They have Pierce there. Their defense has looked good at times. So there's definitely some pieces for them to work with. I just don't know if you want to go and work with the front office. That's what it comes down to. I just don't know. So, that didn't work out. That blew up in my face a million times. So yeah, I don't know who wants to go to the Texans. I got no idea. Wait, good.
Let's talk about your Packers-Lions game because it was prime time.
Oh, you're interviewing Raheem Morris.
Yeah, we're interviewing everybody.
There you go.
Don't be surprised if we interview Matt LaFleur, Tom.
There will be some Packers fans this morning that will welcome that. It's falling apart.
Wow.
It's all falling apart.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I saw Robert Saleh get criticized. Or somebody questioned, is Robert Saleh a good coach? I think he's a great head coach. I think maybe the Jets should be looking at a different offensive coordinator moving forward as well. And they have Matt LaFleur's brother, Mike, over there in New York.
Not his HC.
But that Quay Walker play was maybe one of the most egregious, ill-timed, dumb mistakes I've seen since the Patriots threw the game away to the Raiders. Since they threw it to Chandler Jones. It's the worst play since then.
The lateral.
Quay Walker came out. He owned up to his mistake afterwards, right? But this is the second time he's pushed a trainer this season.
He did in the Bills game. He did in the Bills primetime game, Sunday Night Football. I don't know if Quay Walker just turns into a werewolf on Sunday night.
Yeah.
And he's just because here's the thing. He's been playing so well. And it's just, what?
You just got a $250 dono.
Whoa! I have no voice this morning. Chris! Oh, man. I got to give you... Hold on. I got to give you 2 scoots. And I got to give you something else. I got you.
Johnny John John! Woo! Johnny John John! Woo!
And finally, because...
Doesn't matter if you have one ass cheek and 3 toes. I will beat your ass.
Yes.
That hurt to play.
Danny
Appreciate you, Chris.
Campbell.
Listen, Amon-Ra St. Brown caught it with his ass cheek. So,
oh yeah, he did. One ass cheek, one hand. Amon-Ra is gonna catch it.
Oh my God. Yeah. Quay Walker, rookie, first rounder, has been playing really well for us down the stretch and had that bad night in Buffalo where he got ejected because he pushed a trainer on the sideline. I don't know if something was said, but it doesn't really matter. You have to be a professional. And then this one, you have 2 dumbass mistakes. Rasul Douglas, he goes and swats the ball away.
What was he doing? That was
LaFleur was trying to call a timeout, and they were trying to get a free kick, and Rasul Douglas didn't want that, but it didn't go through, so that just pushed them further for the field goal. And then Quay Walker pushes a trainer, and Devontae Wyatt also checked one too after that. Both first rounders from this year, and Quay Walker got ejected again. And it's just, listen, I don't care if anything was said. I don't care if he bumped into you. You're a professional player. You just don't do that. Yeah. And he did own up to it, and that's all well and good. But it's just
probably cost him the game.
I don't know if it cost him the game, but
there was, because it's 15-yard penalty in that situation, right? And then
correct. So, but that's the thing.
Points? Was it a field goal?
There's so many that cost it, but him not being on the field hurt the Packers as well. And so it just crushed him. So I think you look at Quay, there's things going on, and it's got to get better. He's got to be more mature, and he's a young guy, and you just got to hope he learns from those mistakes, because that's not something that you want. No. It's not something you want. And I think it goes down to discipline. And you know what the worst part is the Packers. So they won 4 in a row, right? They won 4 in a row. They absolutely beat the crap out of the Vikings last week. And you saw that this was a different Packers team that wasn't making the same mistakes that has plagued them all season. The defense was playing well. They were capitalizing. They were getting turnovers. And you're like, great. The offense was finding a bit of a rhythm, though the offensive red zone still was a little shaky in these past few weeks. And everything that had gone wrong this season came back and just haunted them in this game. So, like, the defense played some really good football, then all of a sudden stopped playing good football. Lack of discipline, Aaron Jones fumble, the mistakes, Aaron Rodgers hero ball, couldn't establish the run. Alan Lazard jet sweeps on 4th and inches on our own freaking side of the field. And I don't know why we're giving it to Alan Lazard. Like, so many things, like, just were horrendous. And it just all came together. And Rodgers spoke on this and said, like, listen, it's the same stuff that we've been dealing with all year. And I think it's just from top to bottom, you need to look at what's wrong with the Green Bay Packers, because this is now 3 years in a row that we have suffered losses in Lambeau, right? And it's ridiculous at some point. And listen, this team was not as good as they were last year, right? That was evident. No. They weren't. However, the fact that this keeps on happening, Lambeau, this pains me to say, but this has been the case for a while. It's no longer the home field advantage of, like, my youth. It hasn't been. That kind of ended when Michael Vick destroyed our dreams in the playoffs, because I still remember that, because the Packers used to not lose at Lambeau. Now it's becoming a tradition. 1. 2, all the questions surrounding Joe Barry, in which he started doing real well. These past few games, they had 12 turnovers in 4 games, but he had a rough season. And then that all came back last night. And you look at the lack of discipline. Matt LaFleur is not getting fired, but there is some things that need to be looked at and saying, like, okay, what is going wrong? That's one. The big question, of course, is going to be Aaron Rodgers. So Aaron Rodgers, here we go again. He said flat out, like, he's not going to hold the team hostage. He's going to come back with a decision quickly. But he said yesterday, he definitely could walk away from the game. He's saying that he could walk away from all that money. He said, but, he might step away. He's going to step away. Then, like, emotions might start to, like, go away. And then,
do some hallucinogenics to get his
exactly. Then we got to run it back. So I think Rodgers is going to be the key here. Jordan Love, they need to make a decision on his 5th-year option, which it looks like that they are going to, they're going to accept it regardless, because that's kind of what Goody said already earlier this season. And then you have guys like Randall Cobb, Mason Crosby, David Bakhtiari, Big Dog Mercedes Lewis. Like, there's guys that are not going to be on this team next year. The cap hit from Aaron Rodgers, whether he stays, goes, retires, what have you, is going to be it's going to be tough to navigate around. And the Packers have the 15th overall pick, which is not amazing, and it's just, where do you begin to look? And how do you beat some of these more physical teams? Because, it's a problem.
It was, I thought the Packers really had a lot of momentum heading into that game.
They had all of it.
And it just felt like a game that they were going to win, kind of based on that. But and that's not taking away from Detroit, who really, the second half of the season, just one of the best teams in football, like, every week, competitive. But, like, the difference in that game, like, I don't know if Rodgers hurt his hand again, right? Like, something happened during the game, but he made a couple of the worst throws I've seen Rodgers make. And one of those interceptions was called back because of hands to the face or something. And I was like,
horrific.
I was watching that while Will and I were podcasting. I was like, oh my God, he's got his guy. Like, the Packers are about
wide open.
It went right to Detroit. And I was like, oh, that's like a bad throw. But for, like, Rodgers, you don't see him miss that kind of throw that often. And I think it was kind of desperate situation. You don't have your sort of reliable rhythm there. Whoa.
Chris with a 150.
Whoa.
Boop, boop, boop. Packers would have been slaughtered in the first round of the playoffs by 49ers. I pray Bears don't mess up this coming draft. Yeah, we'll talk about that. Sorry, Ton, let me Let me give the people what they want. Hold on
I
one
hear
second.
you.
Johnny John Joy! Woo!
And then just because we're just going to continue with, where is it? Where is it?
Dan?
No, not that. Oh,
Damn.
here we go. Just in the spirit.
Amon, rah, 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 St. Brown.
We were literally doing this the entire time. Thank you, Chris. You're crazy. You're crazy.
We just crossed 6,000 live viewers. We played that clip, dropped back down to 10.
That sounds about right.
Rah,
Sorry,
rah,
continue, Brendan.
No, I thought Rodgers didn't play well. And usually, like in a game like that, especially the regular season, I expect him to hit all of those passes. And he just didn't last night.
Yeah.
Again, maybe he messed up his hand again. I don't know. But
I think so.
because there was a pick later. Was it the Kirby Joseph pick later?
Yep. He just
another-
said Christian Watson. It was literally
Yeah.
like the exact same interception that he threw against the 49ers last year.
Yeah.
Like the exact same one.
just
But like, so
chucked it.
again, like this is the ultimate issue. And I said this on the stream last night. I said this in the post game. I said in all of it. Rodgers can still be a phenomenal QB. He can, because he also made some amazing throws last night.
Oh yeah,
And the problem is there's no nuance in football. There's none, right? If you criticize Rodgers, you're a Rodgers hater, right? Oh my God, you betrayed him, traitor, blah, 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 by calling out any flaws. If you say that he's amazing, then you're a homer, what have you, what have you, what have you. But there is nuance there. And here's the thing with Aaron Rodgers. The guy can still play like the MVP at times. The guy also has declined. And the consistency, right, that has gotten worse. So you're starting to see more of the decline work its way in there. That doesn't mean he's a horrible QB. It doesn't mean he's a god. It means that he is a QB who is not perfect anymore.
it means he doesn't cover up all the flaws.
He doesn't.
And that's
He
exactly
100%
kind of what we
doesn't.
saw with Tom Brady and the Buccaneers this year.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Bernie, you just got a hundo.
Oh, Chris.
No, Chris
Wow.
coming in tonight.
Chris.
Johnny John Joy! Woo!
Chris giving me that Russell Wilson contract, basically.
Appreciate you, Chris.
Good golly.
But yeah, you said you saw it with Tom Brady.
Yeah, it's the Buccaneers weren't as solid of a football team. They dealt with injuries. The Packers have, we saw the Broncos, a lot of injuries. But what we've grown accustomed to seeing with Rodgers is doesn't matter what happens through the course of the season. Packers still an elite offense, really hard to beat. Your quarterback makes up for your deficiencies. And he gets a little hurt. He's not playing at that same level, and all of the flaws seem magnified, especially when you expect that from your quarterback, right? And Brady with the Buccaneers. Brady overall had, a pretty good season for a 45-year-old, phenomenal season. And if you just watch the Buccaneers, though, they couldn't run the ball, which Brady's throwing more. Like he's throwing at the same rate, but the passes aren't as easy because teams know they can't run the ball, and he missed way more throws than I feel like he's missed before, and that's why he's going to try and go to the Raiders and play with a truly elite receiver, Devontae Adams, who is Mike Evans still really good, but Devontae Adams still a little better. They can run the ball, and it's just they're not perfect anymore. And we were just so used to seeing that with Brady, with Rodgers. And we will see it again with Russell Wilson. But other than that, I'm not sure what's happening moving
But see,
forward.
that's the thing. I disagree. Like Packers fans, like we don't expect that of Rodgers, especially after this season. But you started even last season. I mean, you look at the past few years in the fourth quarter, like that's a stat, like that's a graphic that's floating around today. Kind of just like the fourth quarter. It could be. Rodgers' stats have been abysmal. Like, they have not been good. Like, the clutch Aaron Rodgers, like, in those big moments, in those, win or go home scenarios for the past few years, he has struggled. Now, granted, you were going up against the Buccaneers defense, which was really amazing, right? Like, well, you have the 49ers one before that, but then you have the 49ers, who were great last year. Their defense was amazing. But now you have the Lions, who had one of the worst defenses in the league. So I know they got better, but at some point, again, there's nuance here. The whole thing is not pinned on Rodgers, but it's also, you can recognize that he is not necessarily the solution. This is not the 2016 run the table season. In the run the table season, that was Aaron Rodgers. That was all Rodgers. Our defense was not good. And we literally were just like, he was out there literally just making it happen and dragged our carcasses to the NFC Championship game where we got blown out by the Falcons. That is not the Aaron Rodgers here. That's not the scheme anymore. And it shouldn't be. We started this season and I said the Green Bay Packers should have this amazing defense. They didn't. We saw flashes of it, but they didn't. And they should have a run game that should kind of be dictating what the offense is going to do with a very good quarterback behind center. And that's just not what you saw. And the problem is that you see this default for Aaron Rodgers. There's a reason why last night's interception looked really familiar, because it happened already. Because every time things get crazy, the default is Devontae's out there somewhere. Alan Lazard's out there somewhere. Christian Watson's out there somewhere. And it's just chucking it away. And listen, the offensive line, which has been really solid, was garbage last night. Dave Bakhtiari did a really nice job against Aiden Hutchinson. So they moved Aiden Hutchinson over to the right side. And it was just terrible.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, the Lions got Aiden Hutchinson and the emergence of James Houston. I think they add somebody in the middle there and another linebacker. They could have a really good defense next year to kind of match their offense. But yeah, it was a disappointing performance for the Packers. Although it was still a good game. It was still close, but wrong side of the point column. Wait, you guys had 16.
Yeah, no, I know. You cursed us. You legitimately cursed us.
I just realized you got the curse of 16. Here's the thing, though. It's like this whole season's kind of been weird for offensive production. I feel like for teams we expected to be good, but still, Chiefs still good, Bills offense still good, Bengals offense still good. It's, those three teams just have phenomenal quarterbacks. And as we get into the playoffs this week, you put it in the rundown that there's like some underwhelming matchups in this first round of the playoffs.
There you go, Perna.
I agree with you.
You got 50, Perna.
Sorry, Nate. You still got a top 5 pick, Nate. Let's see here. I'm going to give you something. Nate.
We have to clean out these videos.
Just put my jersey on for the first time. Broncos orange. Let's ride. Green screening it with my boy.
Yes, sir.
Let's go. We in the orange, baby. Let's go. Let's ride, baby. Ooh.
So clean right now. No cat.
Well, we know what we doing. Hey. I had my boy Drew. Now I got 1-4 with me.
1-4 with me.
Boy,
hey.
Boy. Hey.
Yes, sir.
Show them what we gonna do.
Yes, sir.
There you go, Nate.
It just keeps going. And it never ends.
Relish in it.
It just never stops.
Okay, so Miami sneaks in. All right. And now we get Miami versus the Bills.
Ugh.
We got Bengals versus Ravens.
Ugh.
And 49ers versus Seahawks.
Ugh.
What I do not like about any of those games is we've already seen those teams play each other twice.
Correct.
And like one of those in the postseason is kind of fine. And San Francisco and Seattle, I'm actually excited about that because I think the 49ers are going to just have a field day. But I don't want to see the Bills and Dolphins play again. And I do not want to see the Bengals and especially because the NFL changed where it's all, division rivals playing in the final week. And now like the Ravens, we don't even know if Lamar Jackson's going to play this week. That whole situation's been weird. We know nothing about his injury, about his status. And it's just it's a matchup I don't need to see again. I think the Bengals will win. Luckily, they're at home, so the coin toss thing didn't come into play. But yeah, it's the way it kind of landed here is just a bit underwhelming for Super Wild Card weekend, I guess.
See, I think it's completely underwhelming. And it's not just because the Packers didn't get in. I promise. Like, that's also why I'm pissed at the Seahawks, too. Because, like, I don't want to see the Seahawks 49ers again. And I really wanted this to be a win or go home game for both teams. Because I would rather see the Lions in the postseason. Because they are a fun football team to watch. I think them against the 49ers would have been a much better matchup. Yeah. Just because, like, Dan Campbell just, like, going crazy first playoff game, they would have been completely and totally stoked. And yeah, it's just underwhelming. And I mean, the game I'm looking forward to the most is Jaguars Chargers.
Ooh, yeah. And actually, I think like Buccaneers Cowboys, because of how bad Dallas played, like this might just be one of those.
What did I tell you?
Games.
What did I tell you, Brandon? I said the Buccaneers beat the Cowboys. The Cowboys looked like garbage yesterday. And I can say that because I'm on the King of Garbage Mountain. But they looked horrible. So it's just, I don't know, man. Like, yeah, Monday night, it's just going to be praying for the meteor. That's it.
Yeah, the Cowboys, like, we haven't even talked about that yet.
Real quick, Brandon, before we go forward, there is something I do need to shout out, though. And that is Jamal Williams, former Green Bay Packer, beat Barry Sanders' rushing TD record, got 17, had a great game last year, has had a great season as the premier back after Swift has been dealing with injuries. And Jamal Williams, like, they just went ball to the introductions were amazing. The roller coaster of an interview that he had. I do love Jamal Williams, like, very, very much so.
I feel like he's probably the most likable player in the entire NFL.
Honestly, that's valid.
Dude, like, this is kind of like in my best and worst, but seeing Jamal Williams get more rushing touchdowns in a season than Barry Sanders is not. And I love Jamal Williams, love him. Thought it was a nice pickup for the Lions. Thought he was having a great year, but to think he was going to break one of Barry's records and his second season with the Lions, where he's not even a feature back. Like, he splits carries with Swift. Swift got hurt. Like, Jamal Williams had like over 100 more carries than he's ever had in a season.
Yep.
That's like an insane record. That's an insanely impressive accomplishment for Jamal Williams on top of the, bizarre and fun season that the Lions put together. He's just, and a lot of his touchdowns were goal line situations. He's one of the best goal line backs in football.
Yeah.
But he's also great outside of that. He just gets more touches when the Lions get close, and they get close a lot. That's why they've been one of the best red zone teams in the league. But damn, yeah, he's such a fun player, emotional, hilarious, candid, and it was cool. Like, I saw that, I was just, dear God. Because, like, Barry Sanders, one of the best to ever do it, ever.
Yeah, and I know people are like, he had an extra game and this, that, and the other thing. It doesn't take away you had a guy who was basically like a change of pace back for us. He was the guy you put in on 3rd and 1, 4th and 1 to go in, but they literally gave him a feature spot and he took it and ran with it. And I think like that's really fun. Like that's really great for him.
You could argue extra game, and I am a fan of shitting on stats that are accomplished for that extra game. Like, I don't like it, but like Barry Sanders was getting, roughly over 300 carries a year. So I think Jamal had 263. Barry Sanders only had fewer carries like once in his career. So it's impressive. It's really impressive. The season, Barry Sanders had 16 rushing touchdowns. He had 342 carries. So Jamal's efficiency is incredible.
I did not. No.
Oh,
I did
yeah,
not.
that was hilarious. Was it? Wait, Greg Gumbel's Deshaun's? Was it? I thought it was the David Njoku touchdown. Greg, it's one of the most like uninspiring touchdown calls you'll ever hear. I think like he couldn't tell if they ruled it a touchdown, and then he just lost track of what he was saying. I think I retweeted it, but yeah, it's hilarious. Anyway,
Cowboys.
Dak Prescott maybe was the worst quarterback this week. Seriously.
Dude, they have no momentum.
We had
None.
quarterbacks like Anthony Brown starting, Desmond Ridder starting, Jared Stidham, Sam Ellinger, David Blau playing, Josh Dobbs, Andy Dalton, Davis Webb, Skylar Thompson. Dak Prescott, lower passer rating than them, 128 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. He was bad. Dak was bad. Oh, there you go.
Boop. I got you. Hold on. I got you.
And I like Dak. I think he gets too much crap, but he was not good. Meow.
Yeah, no, and now they're going on the road against Tampa. And I'm telling you, Tampa's not a good team.
No.
I'm going to do power rankings tomorrow. And like, I literally was sitting there at like 3 a.m. last night because I rank off. Look, I finally have Brandon Perna's. I rank all 14. Yeah, Sam Howell too. And I was like, I don't know who the worst team is like right now. And the Buccaneers are up there, but like there's so many mid teams or so many that have like no momentum going into the postseason this year. And the Cowboys, like they have to be terrified because I don't think they match up well with the Buccaneers.
I mean, I think like the one thing that could benefit the Cowboys, they have the pass rush that can really make Tom Brady miserable.
Maybe. Depending on how they use Micah Parsons, yeah.
Yeah, like it hasn't been they've shown this season that they can be that team. Will
Absolutely.
they be it this week? Don't know. I saw the comment Travis Miller. I feel optimistic after yesterday for the Broncos. A week ago, 2 weeks ago, no optimism. Now, Travis, have a little faith. Not in God, not in Russell Wilson, but in money. Have faith in money, which the Broncos have. Money fixes all problems, as we know.
Money. I don't know where you were going with that. You're just like, hail to the almighty dollar. Yeah.
I'm going to go on a little spending spree at Walmart later today, help my football team, and you guys can do the same.
Wait a minute. Don't we have a sponsorship?
Hey, check it out. We got lost in conversation, but our friends at DraftKings Sportsbook are back, baby. Don't worry. We'll give them another read on Wednesday. DraftKings right now. NFL. Super Bowl playoffs. Ooh, do they got you covered? You know it. Right now, new customers, when you use code GPS, bet at least $5 on any NFL playoff game, you'll instantly receive an additional $200 in bonus bets. Regular season done. DraftKings is here for the postseason. And that's right. $5 on any NFL playoff game. For new customers, you instantly get $200 in bonus bets deposited right into your account. And if mobile sports betting is not available in your state, don't worry. You can still get in on all the fun with DraftKings Daily Fantasy. You just download the app, okay? You put in our code GPS. We got a link for you in the description. It's super easy, and we're giving you the best deal around. DraftKings GPS.
We totally missed the first entry. Like we blew past our exit on the highway, and there was not another exit for another.
Boom.
We didn't even have that.
Boom.
It was 50 miles till the next rest stop, and we just blew right past it.
Yes, we did. That's all right. We'll get you back, DraftKings. We'll get you on Wednesday too. We'll make it right. We'll make it right.
Oh my god, that was yep. That was something. That was something. Speaking of the NFC East, Giants almost came back against the Eagles. Jalen Hurts did not play his best game. Their momentum, meh. They got the bye week, so they can get right. They should be fine. But, yeah, that's I saw that. Yep, that's
Dean Pease.
Yeah, he's retiring. Are the Giants? Let me put it this way: the Giants are playing the Vikings. I think the Giants can win that game. They lost on like a 61-yard field goal the last time that these two teams played. Are they going to go further than that?
The Giants? What was the question?
Why do I even try? The Giants, right? They almost came back against the Eagles. My question to you is they're playing the Vikings this week, who I think they can beat because they only lost by a field goal. Do you think they can go further than that?
Yeah, no, I think the Giants can definitely beat the Vikings this weekend. The Vikings are the most volatile team in the playoffs.
I think they're just bad.
It's not even close.
Oh, the Vikings, yes, they are the boomer bust team this year.
They are like,
1,000,000%.
I think they can beat most anyone in the playoffs, but I know Minnesota can lose to every single team in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's accurate.
AFC or NFC. Like if they were playing the Dolphins without Tua, I'd be like, I could see the Dolphins beating them by 21 points. But I could see the Vikings beating the Cowboys by 21.
Mm-hmm.
And the Cowboys beat them, what, 33 to something?
No, it was like 40. They put up 40 on them.
They beat them by 30 plus points.
So
I have no faith in the Vikings, but I think they can upset anyone. Oh, man.
But it's both those teams, right? So, like, it's the Cowboys and the Vikings. Like, they are both boomer bust. Like, they could show up one week and look amazing, and then they can completely crap the bed the next week. And it's just, I think you have to go with consistency in the playoffs. And guess who's the most consistent team in the league right now? It's the San Francisco 49ers because they've won 10 straight games.
Yeah.
10.
And the Giants are steady. We kind of know their ceiling's not too high, but their floor's not too low. And that's why the Giants could beat the Vikings. And then say they get the Cowboys. They could beat the Giants could be in the championship game.
They won't get the Cowboys, though. Or at least they shouldn't.
I don't know how. I'm not looking how it actually works.
Yeah, because Cowboys are the 5 seed and Giants are the 6 seed.
So they would get like the Eagles, or it would kind of depend on. But anyway.
Depends on if the Seahawks win.
Oh, so that's right. They're not going to win.
No,
that would be crazy if they did. If the Seahawks bounce the Niners, that's the other thing about division games. They're always harder to predict.
Yeah, it's just I just wish the matchups were better.
Yeah.
Like I hope to. I mean, I hope he's healthy enough too. Like just from a viewing standpoint, I hope Tua's ready to go. But like I also understand if they don't risk it at all. Like because why not? Why not? Yeah, I don't think Minnesota beats either of those teams. I don't think they do. I don't think they do. The Eagles slapped it was early in the season, but they slapped the crap out of them, and I think the 49ers would beat them. So the Giants, they're cursed now. Well, that's the thing. In the AFC, who are the best teams?
Chiefs, Bills, Bengals.
You said Bills. We got him. We got him. The Bills came out of his mouth. Oh, I waited the entire time. And I was just luring. I was like, I got him into a false sense of confidence.
Bills Mafia.
You cursed them. You cursed them. You cursed them.
They are. I didn't single them out. I lumped them in with the other.
Oh, wait, hold on. Breaking news. Hold on. I think Cliff Kingsbury just got fired. Yep. Cliff Kingsbury has gotten fired.
Bam. There it is.
He's gone.
33 seconds. Wow. on top of that one.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Listen, the chat don't play. The chat don't play. Yeah.
We
Cliff
mentioned
Kings-
that within a minute of Ian Rappaport mentioning it. We are the fastest NFL news show out there. We are the Tyreek Hills of NFL news.
Boom. Except without the talent or the abuse.
We are the Raheem Mosterts of the NFL news. Fastest speed ever reached, clocked. Raheem Mostert.
Every time I feel a little bit bad, I don't
We
anymore.
are the Jalen Waddles of the NFL news.
Yeah,
Awkward.
dude. And so Cliff, what? Because he got an extension last year, and he's gone. So you talk about a team that is in total anarchy. Also, big shout out to JJ Watt, who also got a sack in his final game. And he said he still had a lot left, but he's just done everything that he wants to do. But they lose JJ Watt. Kyler Murray is not going to be back for some time, right? It's probably going to be minimum halfway through the season next year.
If
There's
that, yeah.
They just fired Cliff Kingsbury. What the hell do the Cardinals even begin to do?
They
Like,
are
that
in
team,
strip it bare bones, strip it down to nothing.
I feel like
and
you
try
have
to rebuild.
I feel like you have to, because I just the Cardinals, they're in a division where the Rams are who knows what the Rams are doing. Sean McVay might step away. Who knows what the hell they're doing? They might be in the bottomless black pit for quite some time. But the Seahawks, they're on the up and up. If they're able to make the playoffs in a rebuild year, which is what this was, they could be good. And then the 49ers, whoever their QB is going to be, they're going to be a solid football team. The Cardinals are just, yeah, man, I don't know. They're rough. They're in rough shape.
Got the 3rd overall draft pick. They can do a lot there. It depends on what the Bears do at number 1 for Arizona. I think the Bears might trade out of that spot. I don't know yet.
Oh God, no! They need to. They could
take. I mean, they could take Will Anderson, the top edge rusher. But we'll see. I mean, it's who they bring in as coach. Is Steve? Are they like? What are they going to do at GM? Steve Keim's away from the team. Like, I don't know what they're going to do there. But yeah, Arizona's not in a good spot, at least for next season. But knowing you don't have Kyler next season,
that's
takes
what
it's pressure off being good next year. And but like I don't trust the Cardinals to rebuild, really.
No, I don't either. But it poses the question, like, what do you do with that spot? I think you trade out of it, and try to, for another QB needy team, and because you can't go and get a QB. You have Kyler Murray, whether you're happy with him or not. So now you're saying, okay, like we go get offensive linemen, like maybe try to, replace JJ Watt, get a pass rusher. I mean, there's things that they can do. It's just, I think that like you have DeAndre Hopkins sitting there, and who's going to be throwing him the ball?
He's only got 2 years left on his deal.
Yep.
And next year's going to be without Kyler. I mean, they could try. I don't think. I mean, who knows what Harbaugh's going to do? But he's the Broncos coach until further notice. Okay.
By the way, I did want to bring something to your attention, Brandon.
Sure.
I don't know if you knew this, but next season, Packers play the Broncos in Denver.
You come to Denver and we don't go to the game. We stream it from my house.
I'm going to go there to stream in your basement.
I hope it is early in the season.
Yeah.
I want nice weather and we can try and go.
Yeah, no, the Packers' schedule is finalized. I mean, obviously not the order, but no, their opponents are finalized.
Cool.
So
will it be Rodgers versus Wilson, or will it be Wilson versus Love?
There you go.
I mean, it's going to be Wilson versus Love all season long. And that's just the love of Broncos fans.
Yeah, the love of your fan base.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's going to be seeking love again.
Yeah. So yeah, Cliff is gone. So that's kind of just the big breaking news right now. Yeah, I know. Listen, the Bears are in a great spot right now. It's just a matter of like as long as they don't screw it up, which is also very, very possible. But yeah, buddy, I don't know. Week 18 was a time, and it hurt me on a spiritual level. There's a lot of questions now for what happens to the Packers. We're not going to get answers because the first domino that needs to fall is Aaron Rodgers. Is he coming back? Like, that's the ultimate question. LaFleur says they want him to come back. He said he wasn't going to assume the team wants him back, but we're going to kind of just wait it out and see. And that's literally all they can do. For the first time in quite some time, no Monday night game tonight. You got the 2 games on Saturday.
We didn't even talk about the coolest thing that happened this weekend, which was the Buffalo Bills eliminating the Patriots from the playoffs and doing it behind the legs of Nyheim Hines, who returned not 1, but 2 kicks for touchdowns in that game, including the opening kickoff return. It was, Buffalo making sure New England doesn't go to the postseason. Chef's kiss. Their problem still, Buffalo, is turnovers. Josh Allen in the red zone, turnovers is what scares me. But thank you. Thank you, Buffalo, for making sure true evil did not get into the postseason. And that is Bill Belichick. So
I was making that point before. Like, so you look at the AFC. What defense is scary? Maybe the Ravens, depending on the day. Like the Chiefs, I think that their defense is suspect. I think at time the Bills' defense is suspect. So, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, the AFC might just be a shootout. And we all know it's going to come down to one of those 3 teams, right? It's going to be the Bills, the Chiefs, and the Bengals, and some combination of them playing against one another. That's why I'm excited for the divisional round of the playoffs, because I think it's going to be much better. But there is a very good chance that we see the rematch of Buffalo and Cincinnati next week.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a lot of fun. Like I'm ready for that. And then
I'd say the Jags defense is kind of sneaky good, and
yes,
the Bengals defense is also good, and they should have Sam Hubbard and Trey Hendrickson both playing. They got DJ Reader in the middle there. I think they can make some noise, but the clear-cut best defenses are Eagles, 49ers in the entire playoffs. Those are the 2 defensives that they can carry their team if their offense struggles for the duration of a game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
hey, listen, maybe the Cardinals they trade DeAndre Hopkins. I wouldn't doubt it. Wouldn't doubt it. There you go.
They should.
Arizona, he can't hurt you anymore. He can't hurt you. So,
wow.
All right, buddy. I think we've navigated.
We have navigated another entire regular season.
Yeah, folks, we appreciate it. We had 6,500 people in here, which I'm pretty sure is our highest this season. Yeah, I think it's higher this season. It's true.
We did our best as our teams do the worst.
That's
cool.
It's accurate. But the most important thing is the Broncos were worse than the Packers. And so because of that, Brandon Perna needs to get a good old bust of this mug right here.
That's right.
Right here. But what do you got coming out today, buddy?
Best and worst of NFL Week 18.
There you go.
And maybe a little short.
There you go.
I can do it.
There you go. I got probably a short. Every NFL fan's reaction. No game afterwards. So that's a Week 18. That's coming out. And a Packers fan reaction to the 2022-2023 season. That's going to come out today too. So 2 really big videos. They'll drop today.
Dang.
Yeah. So, but we appreciate you folks. We'll be back on Wednesday for GPS at 11 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Mountain Time. But we appreciate you.
Our sponsor, who definitely sponsored today's episode, DraftKings. GPS.
You're probably gonna have another read on Wednesday.
We'll make it up.
Thank you so much for watching. I'm Tom Grossi. That's Brandon Perna. And this is GPS. And you have been navigated.
And you've reached your destination.
It's hell. It's just hell.
Hey,
Fire.
you're in the
brimstone.
passenger seat now, Tom.
No, I don't like it. I
Hey,
want to
guess
get
where we're
off.
going.
I don't want